Okay, you can go.
Money, 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 money. Money, 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 money. Ooh, I love it. Money, 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 money. Money, money. Oh, hey. Y'all watching me? It's time. I guess it's that time, Facebook family. Hey, it's your girl, Lynnette Khalfani-Cox, the money coach. And I told you guys that tonight is the night that we're going to have a special talk about putting some money in your bank account. I know it's April 1st and the rent was due today, right? Did that mortgage come due today? I know a lot of you were like, how am I going to pay? What am I going to do with these bills when this coronavirus crisis has taken hold? I want to tell you tonight a promise that I made to you guys on Facebook and frankly everywhere else. I told you I was going to tell you how to put cash money in your pocket, okay? $5,000, $10,000. Some of you are going to walk away tonight, walk away in your house that is, knowing how to get $20,000 this month. I'm not talking about long time in the future, in the month of April. And frankly, a lot of you are going to be able to get this kind of cash month after month after month. So yeah, I'm about to tell you how to make it rain up in here, okay? Oh, get my dollars before Astro gets my money. Y'all know we got 2 dogs, right? Okay, so Astro and Comet, they're gonna try to bite some of those dollars that I just tossed around here crazy. Okay, so here you go, guys. Let's go. We got 7 ways that you can get some fast money to the tune of $10,000 or more. And I want you to know that it's all about what the government just did last month. They passed actually not just one. I know you heard about the $2.2 trillion economic relief package, but that was just the third of 3 so-called stimulus packages. So they all had different measures in there, different programs for folks just like you and me to get big dollars. So I want to show you tonight how you can get your piece of the pie and tap into some of that money that you are rightfully due, okay? So we're going to go through 7 ways. I'm going to let you guys ask me questions at the end. Alexis is taping. We're obviously live here. But if you have questions, go ahead and post them, and she's gonna, at the end, she's gonna be telling me what you guys' questions are, and I'm gonna answer your questions as well, okay? So, first off, I know you guys heard about the so-called stimulus checks, right? That's a lot of money, a lot of cash money coming your way. So, this is $500 right here. I took Earl's money. No, he gave it to me. Sort of. I guess one pocket taken out and putting it in another pocket. Is it really giving or taking? And when it's husband and wife, I don't know. But long story short, the government is calling these direct cash payments. And so the IRS this month is going to send to most Americans checks, or I don't know, you can call them little stimulus checks. You can call them, support checks, economic relief checks, call it whatever you want. But it's $1,200 per adult and $500 per child for individuals who are making up to $75,000 or couples who are making up to $150,000. Now they prorate it after that. So if you make above $75,000 and you're an individual all the way up to $99,000, you'll still get something. It'll be less than $1,200. If you make above $99,000, you don't get anything. Singles, sorry. If you are a couple and you make above $150,000, you can go up to $198,000 in earnings, and you'll still get something. Again, it won't be $1,200. They're going to prorate it and knock some money off. If you make above $198,000, sorry, you don't get anything. Now, some of you are like, how am I going to get my check? So they're going to send it in direct deposit. If you filed your taxes already for 2019, they got your information on hand. Most people do get a tax refund check. And so just know that you don't have to worry so much if you're kind of like, oh, you know what? Each time I sent my stuff in, I didn't file for 2019. I only did it for 2018. Don't worry. If you got a refund check in 2018, they still have your information on hand, and they will deposit it into the banking account information they had for you. If they don't have it, it's going to take longer. Then you're going to get your check a little bit later because they're going to send it in the mail instead of direct deposit, okay? So that's the first amount, the direct payments, $1,200 or more. Let's roll. Let's go someplace else over here. All right. I want to tell you about a second source of cash. Now, here, this is me telling you what the cash is. Y'all know what this is, right? Look, you can tell me what it is. I don't hear you yet. What is this? Come on, speak up. All right. I know you think this is like a Post-it note or something. No, it's not. This is called a pink slip. Sad to say. And I'm not laughing because you know what? I got a pink slip. Okay? I got a pink slip back in 2003. So I know what it's like to be laid off, you know? But you know what? All across America, this is what's going on right now. Pink slips galore being doled out like crazy. And what does that pink slip mean? And why is it relevant to you getting cash? The pink slip means I am entitled to some unemployment compensation because I got laid off from my job. Yep, I got a pink slip. I got furloughed from my job. I had my hours slashed and reduced. I had to work for a company that was just totally shut down. Well, if that's the case for you, then you're entitled to unemployment compensation. And guess what? They boosted it. One of the big things that happened in that $2.2 trillion stimulus package, if you want to call it that, the economic relief package, is that they expanded unemployment compensation in 3 super important ways. First, they made a lot more people eligible for unemployment pay. In the past, if you were self-employed, a gig economy worker, a 1099 worker who, you know, you do side hustles and you have jobs that other people pay you for on a project basis. If you were a freelancer, etc., you were not eligible for unemployment pay. But now you are. So you can claim unemployment compensation. That's one thing. Second, they extended the term of it. So in most states in the country, unemployment lasts for 26 weeks. They added 13 weeks on it. So now it can go as long as 39 weeks. But then, this is really, I think, the most important thing. They put some little sweetener on it. They added some cash for folks who are getting unemployment compensation. So all across the country, because every state has their own unemployment program and they do it all differently, they calculate it differently. It varies. Your unemployment pay varies. It's, you know, on a state by state basis. But on average, the typical person is getting about $382, $372, depending on whose statistics you believe, but right around there. And this is significant. If you are in fact getting that $300 and something, you might be in whatever, take your pick state. And if you get that $300 and something, that's one part of your unemployment pay right now. That's the state provided. But with this pandemic we're experiencing, they added something in there, an extra $600 a week payment, a separate payment called the Federal Pandemic Unemployment Compensation. So they add the $600 a week to whatever it is that you're getting, and then each week you're entitled to that. So a lot of people are going to be getting $972 or so per week in compensation. So that's a lot of good money. That's almost $1,000 per week, okay? So let's move it on. All right. Now, next up, what's your next source of cash? Well, it is in the form of sick leave. Now, obviously, the whole point of why the government is pushing out all these dollars right now is because of the COVID-19 outbreak and the coronavirus crisis that's gripping this country and that has indeed affected the world. So a lot of you, I hope you are keeping on top of things and taking your temperature, making sure you ain't sick, you know, making sure you don't, ooh, don't cough into your hand. Don't do that. Making sure you're not sick. What are you supposed to do? Cough into the inside of your elbow. But if you are sick, you know what? You might want to take advantage of federally mandated sick pay that was as a result of this recent legislation. So in a nutshell, people who are sick, y'all need to be staying home. Y'all need to be wiping stuff down, cleaning, sanitize. That's what I've been doing. I've been sanitizing and cleaning like crazy. I think in all my years of marriage, Earl ain't never seen me clean so much. He's been shocked at how much cleaning I've been doing around the house. But listen, you got to disinfect. You got to sanitize. You got to keep all kind of germs, not just those little nasty coronavirus. You got to keep everything away these times because you don't want to get sick. You don't want to have to go to the hospital for anything. So I'm telling you guys, if you're entitled to it, you should go ahead and claim that sick pay. If you've been diagnosed with coronavirus or COVID-19, if you have been quarantined, if a medical provider told you you need to stay, isolated or quarantined, you need to be taking advantage of all those benefits. Why are you cleaning and getting everything together around the house? And you can't do enough cleaning, okay? You can't have enough sanitizing and all kind of, just getting all the germs. Everything needs to go away here. But the pay that you can get on the sick pay level is pretty juicy. You can get up to $511 per day in terms of sick pay. Now, honestly, they're covering you up to 100% of your salary, and they're replacing that in terms of sick pay for 10 days. So I know that's not as long as you would want it to be, because most of them telling you to quarantine for 14 days if you are actually sick, or if you're taking care of somebody who's sick, that kind of thing. So y'all hear my dog? He's having a fit over here. I think I might, I was going to let Astro out, but maybe not. Earl might let him out. He's ringing the bell. But my point is, if you're going to take advantage of that sick pay, it covers 100% of your salary up to $511. And it's for 10 days. So it's a maximum of $5,110. Okay? Now, realistically, let's be honest. Most people are not making up to $511 per day. The average American makes about $48,000, almost $49,000, and it works out in terms of the average American salary about $187 per day. So those folks are making about $936 in a given week. So again, even if you got that sick pay for 10 days, hey, 936 on average times 2, that's $1,872. That's some serious cash. That's some coronavirus cash. Come on, let's go. So here, I want to take you to the next little source of money that you can get. I told you about the sick leave. Now let me tell you about family leave, because this is a separate benefit that you can be entitled to, and you can put some money into your pocket, okay? So, speaking of family, look at this cute little picture. Look at my little babies. Okay, so this is Earl and I, okay? Earl and me. Okay, yeah, this is me. So it would say me. Okay, yeah. I'm trying to get my grammar correct here. Okay, so obviously this was back in the day. This was back in our house in New Jersey. And he and I laugh right now. We're like, oh my God, why did we have a yellow sofa? It looks like so dated and old now. But anyway, that's another story. But as you can see, look at Alexis. She was literally a newborn. Alexis's birthday is in November. That was her very first Christmas. So that was 14 years ago. You could tell by how Earl is holding her, right? He was like trying to learn how to hold a baby. So, but family actually gets you some money through the coronavirus crisis. How so? If you have kids, any of them under the age of 18, and you are staying at home in order to take care of them because their school was shut down for 5 or more days, or because you can't even take them to their daycare provider, you are entitled to family leave benefits. And in a nutshell, family leave benefits, because of the COVID-19 outbreak, they're an extension now of the Family Medical Leave Act. And so you can get up to 2/3 of your regular pay for 12 weeks. Now, the first 2 weeks technically can be unpaid. So 10 weeks of paid family leave is actually available to you right now. So it's capped at $10,000. And again, because the average person is not going to be making the highest amount of money, if you're making, say, the average, which is what I said, about $187 a day, then even if you got family leave for a month because your kids are off, and my daughter Alexis has already been off for about a month, you're going to get about $625 in benefits on average per week from family medical leave. Multiply that $625 times 4 a month, and that's $2,500. Now, again, you might do it for all 10 weeks. And if you did get $625 a week, you would get $6,250 over those 10 weeks, okay? So make sure that you claim via your employer, who's going to get a tax credit from the government, claim your family medical leave benefits if you're entitled to those, okay? If you've been staying home taking care of the kids. Okay, now let's go over here to the refrigerator, because I want to show you something else. Okay, so you're like, what does our refrigerator got to do with me getting some money? I'm about to tell you. Free food, that's what it got to do with it. So let me show you something. Well, disregard the beard. That's Earl's. That's not me. That Earl, okay, never mind. Well, let me see. Okay, so just whatever. Let me step over here. Okay, so if you're getting free food from the government because you're a low-income household, they actually expanded food and nutrition support. Even if you hadn't been getting it previously, you can be eligible for free food right now through SNAP, food stamps, TANF, which is temporary assistance to needy families. I don't know about y'all, but we seem to go through a lot of food. There's 3 of us in this household right now. The average family in America spends about $1,000 a month on groceries, about $250 per person. So in a family of 4, about $1,000 roughly per month. So I don't know, you might be going to get some milk, you might be going to get some veggies and some you might be getting some beer like Earl did. I don't drink beer, I'm dead serious. I don't even drink beer. That's Earl. He came back in just now. That's Earl. But anyway, again, because of coronavirus, you might be getting vegetables. I'm getting my spinach. I don't get the fresh. He coming in here to claim something.
Excuse me, sorry.
He got his beer. He's on the run. Okay. So, this is just a little tip, a little health tip. I don't know. I love vegetables just like the next person. But right now, I know I'm not supposed to touch my face. Sorry. Right now, I'm getting the vegetables that are packaged in a plastic and whatnot. And I don't want anybody touching my stuff. When we get it, we wipe it down, and we're using shipped and services to get stuff delivered. But anyway, so whatever vegetables and fruit, whatever little frozen stuff you're getting right now, you can get free food and support, and a lot of different people can get that. $250 a person, $500 value for up to 2 people. You might even want to keep that closet of yours stocked if you got a pantry like we have, and ain't no shame in my game, okay? So I'm gonna tell you right now that I'm kind of like, if that supply chain gets disrupted, what?
Excuse me.
Oh, what? Oh, Earl getting his little crackers. See, he want to mess with me. All right, so if that supply chain gets messed up, like I said, I'm not trying to have no food in this house, okay? If something don't get shipped and they can't send some food, y'all better start. Don't be too proud. You better get you some chili and some chunky noodle soup and some beans up in here. Don't be too proud. Get you some canned food just to, just be on the safe side, okay? I don't have any inside information. I'm not privy to nothing that I know is gonna go down, but I'm just saying, you ain't here for me, but I think you ought to be a little extra careful right now. So, all right, so that was the 5th one. 6th one, something I know a lot of you guys know about. So this is a book called Zero Debt, The Ultimate Guide to Financial Freedom. And I wrote this book originally after I got out of my student loan debt. When I went to college, way back in the day, I had $40,000 in student loan debt when I graduated from USC, from grad school. And I was like, oh my God, I don't want my kids to have student loans. I don't want anybody to have student loans. Well, unfortunately, 44 million Americans have student loan debt. And the good news, though, is that even though a lot of folks are struggling and have been in default and in delinquency status, almost 1/3 of all borrowers have delinquent student loans. The good news is that vis-a-vis this $2.2 trillion economic relief package, the government just gave all y'all who have federal student loans relief. How so? Did you know that if you have any federal student loans, and the vast majority of loans, we got $1.5 trillion in student loan debt outstanding, $1.3 trillion worth of it is federal student loans. But if you have federal student loans, right now the government says you have a pass. We're gonna put everything on pause. You don't have to pay principal payments, interest, fees, nada. From April, May, June, July, August, September of 2020 for 6 months, you don't have to pay any student loan payments. So on average, the typical person is paying about $383 a month in student loan payments. So that's some serious, if it's not cash, it's some cash flow savings for you, because you don't have to worry about that right now. But let's talk about how you're gonna be able to get some cash for those of you who have been super stressed, because I know a lot of you have not heard about this. If you have student loan debt, y'all not gonna believe this one, because when I read this, I was like, let me double check, let me really get the facts here. So show them this book again, Alexis, Zero Debt for College Grads. I actually did that as a sequel to my New York Times bestseller, Zero Debt, The Ultimate Guide to Financial Freedom. And you know, I wrote that book initially after I got out of $100,000 in credit card debt alone. I know y'all saying, ooh, she was a mess. She was in all kind of debt. Yeah, that's true. Okay. I've got over it though. Okay. So don't judge me. Anyway, back to the student loans. You know, I told you so many people were already struggling in default and delinquency status before coronavirus hit. Well, the government has not only decided to pause everybody's federal student loans, they're saying we're going to give back relief. We're going to give some serious cash to people who were recently defaulted on their student loan debt. And I was like, well, what y'all doing here? Here's the bottom line. About 830,000 federal student loan borrowers went into default and had collections actions taken against them. They had their wages garnished. They had fees, late payment penalties added to they had collections, you know, folks tracking them down on the job, calling them at home and whatnot. Well, the government literally just said, oh, we're about to refund all your money. Wait, what? Yeah, over $1 billion is now being returned to those 830,000 student loan borrowers who had been in default status. So what they're going to do is give them all a check back. I did the math, and on average, since they're dividing up this $1.something billion among 830,000 people, on average, that typical defaulted student loan borrower is going to get $2,189. That's a nice little chunk of change. That's a good little check. Okay. So, all right, let's wrap it up here because I'm going to take your questions in a minute, but I want to tell you, I think I saved the best for last because I want to talk to you about, voila, people like us, people who are entrepreneurs, people who are self-employed at any level. I want to tell you about SBA grants and loans. Now, when I say employed or as a self-employed person at any level, you need to understand this $349 billion that the government is now floating to gig economy workers, freelancers, contractors, 1099, Uber drivers, anybody with a side hustle. If you've been doing anything on the side besides regular W-2 earnings and regular employee work, any kind of side hustle at all since at least February 15th or even January 31st for two different types of loan programs via the Small Business Administration, you're eligible to apply for a small business loan. Now, I want to highlight two very quickly. So again, maybe some of you, my girls out there, are into makeup, and maybe you have a little hairstyling business on the side or a makeup business, or maybe you were doing YouTube tutorials or on Instagram and you've been, collecting checks like that from people who are paying you for your products or services. It doesn't matter what you've been doing. If you were getting cash payments or getting a 1099, you're considered a small business owner, okay? So you're eligible to apply for SBA loans and grants. One loan program is called the Paycheck Protection Program. It's a forgivable loan program. You can borrow up to $10 million. And the loan is either fully or partially forgivable. How is that? Bottom line is if you use the money mostly for payroll, even to pay yourself or to pay others, pay contractors, to pay employees for your business, anything that's related to payroll, mortgage interest, or rent on a property, a business property that you're leasing, or utilities, if you use the money for that, the loan is forgivable. It has to be 75% of it has to be put towards payroll. The whole point of it is that they want to stimulate you to keep working and paying for yourself to keep your business going, or to pay others, your employees or contractors. So that's one. It's a hugely popular program already, even though the government has not even started taking applications via private lenders like banks, credit unions, fintech companies, etc. Those institutions will be able to offer PPP loans or payroll, I think it's called Payroll Protection Program loans, starting on Friday, this Friday. So that's one program, forgivable loans. And again, y'all don't need to be trying to borrow no $10 million, not even $1 million, probably not even 100,000, because they base it on your payroll. The maximum loan you can get is 2.5 times your monthly payroll, okay? So that's how they're doing the math there. But here's one last thing I want to tell you about on the loan front, which is really a grant, a freebie from the government. They have a second kind of loan at the SBA. They have many loans, but I'm highlighting these two. The second loan I want to tell you about is something called an economic injury disaster loan. EIDL, it's called, okay? Now, everybody been economically injured. Coronavirus has come in here and just not just been a public health crisis, but also a financial crisis as well, right? So if your business income has been interrupted and, profits, revenue, business is down, you can apply for something called an economic injury disaster loan. And here's the thing. This one is up to $2 million, low interest rate, 3.75%. The PPP loan is 0.5% in terms of the interest rate for anything that's remaining after the loan, after you get through loan forgiveness, okay? So for the EIDL loan though, when you apply for this loan, let's say you apply for $15,000. At the time of your application, there's something special that happens. You can request a grant up to $10,000. And guess what? This is what the rules said on this, okay? They're supposed to give you the money, you entrepreneur, side hustle, gig economy worker, LLC, S-Corp owner, whatever you are, S-Corp company, having person, like I have an S-Corp. You are supposed to get the grant in 3 days. 3 days, okay? Now, okay, what if they haven't finished processing your loan? What if they haven't even made a decision on your loan? Guess what? And again, I double, triple, and quadruple check this. So I'm not gonna come and bring you some wrong information. If you are denied the loan later after you get the $10,000 grant, that $10,000 is still yours to keep. Free and clear, no strings attached. And I was like, wait, what? I was like, oh, everybody needs to apply for this. Everybody needs to get this grant, okay? If you have a side hustle, a business, anything like that, I'm telling you guys, go get your piece of the pie, okay? So let's wrap it up here. I'm gonna let Alexis ask or tell me what your questions are, but I wanna show you real quick a recap. Because when the money coach promises, I try to deliver, girl. Come on, let's go. Over here, let me show you something. So take a look at this. I want you to look at these numbers here, okay? I walked you through the cash payment, the direct cash payments. $1,200 per person, $500 for a child. If it's a couple, $2,400. So this is the minimum. If you're a single person making $75,000 or less, you're gonna get $1,200. Again, unemployment benefits, they've been extended. The average about $372 from the state side, plus that $600 boost in payments. So that's $972 a week. In the course of a month or 4 weeks, that's gonna work out to $3,888. That's some good money, okay? And remember, they extended them and made them, the extra $600 boost lasts until July 30th of 2020, until the end of the month in July. Paid sick leave, again, if you're making $936, which is kind of like an average salary per week. If you make more, you can get more, but the average worker will be getting about, for 10 days, $1,872. Family leave benefits, if you take it only for about a month and you get average salary, again, $2,500 a month. Free food through SNAP or TANF. This is for older folks who are getting Meals on Wheels, Native Americans, kids, families, women with children, the WIC program, all of that. I'm estimating it low, even if one person in the family for food for the month, $250. That student loan relief that I talked to you about, not having to pay those student loan payments every month, that's $383 a month. Plus the SBA grant, add it all up. And there's your big old coronavirus cash total, $20,000, okay? More than $20,000. Now I know some of you are gonna be like, well, I don't have a business, I don't have that. Look, okay, take the SBA grant out. What's that number? You can do some quick math, right? Even if you subtracted the SBA grant, that's still $10,000 in the course of just 1 month, okay? Now, I hope y'all know, I come correct. When I tell you I'm gonna promise you something, I'm gonna really deliver. So, all right, I'm tired. That was a lot. So I'm gonna let Alexis go to the questions and ask me via whatever you guys have written in, any questions that you have. I'm gonna go over here and I'm gonna pick up some of my money because I don't want these dogs to get my money. I'm not trying. You don't know how many times Astro has eaten up our money, and I don't routinely throw money on the ground, but I want you to be able to ask me any questions you have, and I want to be able to answer so you can get some coronavirus cash.
Okay, first question is, does it matter if the student loan debt default was a couple years ago? Can I still attempt to get money back?
Okay. Ooh, that was a good question. Okay, in case anybody didn't hear, somebody said, does it matter if the student loan debt the default was a couple of years ago? Can I still get some money back? To my knowledge, what they said is that this is recent. They're returning money to people who were defaulted since Trump declared the coronavirus a national disaster. He declared it on March 13th. So that's showing you how much money is being collected. They collecting a lot of money if since March 13th, they got to return $1 billion, okay? However, I want you to understand something. It's not that you won't be helped in all of this, because all collection has been shut down. So even if you defaulted from years and years ago, they're no longer chasing you. They're not adding in. I'm not saying the debt is going away, but I am saying that they are not putting interest, penalties. You don't have to make any payments right now. So you do get payment relief. Now they're going to give you that little refund or something. No, you ain't. You be happy that you're just going to get the no payment status, okay? So that's the answer on that front.
Okay.
All right, what else?
If you have an LLC, can you still apply for unemployment?
Oh, great question. So the question was, if you have an LLC, can you still apply for unemployment? And yes, the answer is small business owners, self-employed people can still apply for unemployment. In my case, because I have an LLC, just like you do, I also have an S Corp for federal income tax purposes. And what that means is I am both the owner of the company and an employee of the company. So I pay myself wages. On the one hand, I get K-1 income or dividend income. I file an 1120S. I don't want to get all wonky on you, but I happen to love taxes. I'm not a tax expert. I'm not a lawyer. Let me make all the disclaimers and all this other stuff. But just suffice to say, on the one hand, I do generate income via my business from what's called dividend income, which is taxed differently in a preferential way without self-employment taxes. And I also have W-2 employee wages. So if you have some earnings like that on the W-2 side, then yes, you can claim unemployment benefits as well. Okay? What's the next question?
Okay. For the SBA loan and grant, are they checking personal credit? I'm a gig worker.
Ooh, so that was a great question. I'm sorry, I forgot to mention this, because this is what had me so excited about the SBA loans. Y'all, they done eliminated all kind of red tape. And so no, they're not checking your ability to repay. They're not checking your credit. They are not making you give up a personal guarantee as they normally do. There's no prepayment penalties. There's no fees. There's no collateral required. I mean, they really can't make it any easier for you, okay? So great question. No, that is not something that they're doing in terms of checking your credit and saying, oh, do you have bad credit or not? Now, there are some folks who aren't going to get that grant or that loan. And from what I've seen thus far in terms of the rules, and I actually saw the actual application that the SBA put out, the Small Business Administration put out late last night. Essentially, they were like, you got a felony? Oh no, you can't get our money. You already defaulted on some federal debt. No, you can't get money either. So those are two of the areas where you would be precluded or forbidden, so to speak, from getting an SBA loan or grant.
Okay. Do we pay back the SBA loan?
Okay, so do you pay back the SBA loan? There are two loans that I mentioned. If you get an EIDL, which is an economic injury disaster loan, yes, you have to pay that back. There is a portion that you can get free as a $10,000, up to $10,000, or a $10,000 grant, and you would not have to pay that back. But a normal EIDL loan is a 30-year maturity, 3.75% interest, and up to $2 million. So you might need $20,000 or $50,000 or whatever. So, but yes, you do have to pay that loan back. On the other loan that I mentioned, the PPP program, the Payroll Protection Program, that one is designed as a forgivable loan. And believe me, I know so many entrepreneurs. My accountant, he's doing it himself, okay? His firm. And so a lot of people are looking into that because basically the government is underwriting you. They're giving you money to be able to make payroll, to be able to pay your mortgage interest, to be able to pay for utilities, to be able to pay the rent on a facility you might be leasing for business, etc. So if you use the money for those purposes and that's allowable, then yes, it will be forgivable. And the forgivable amount is determined by your spending in the 8 weeks after you get the loan. So they're going to see if you get the loan, April the 20th, then they're going to see May 20th to really, it goes out to June 30th, to the end of June. And then that's the point at which you can apply right back with the bank that you went through to get the loan in the first place. You apply for loan forgiveness. 75% of the funds that you get from the SBA must be used for payroll expenses in order for the PPP loan to be forgivable, okay? And again, with the EIDL loan, the economic injury disaster loan, you apply for that through the SBA directly. For the PPP loan, which is a forgivable loan, you apply for that through lenders. So you go to a bank that's already an SBA lender and that is in their system, in their pipeline, preferably one that's a preferred lender, because that'll get things going a little bit faster, okay?
Okay. Did they do anything for special needs mom? We are not able to use a paid caregiver at this time. They should be paying mothers that money.
Girl, I'm trying to agree with you, okay? So yes, so part of the food nutrition support that I mentioned, there was an element in there for disability, and that was for older people, different families, single moms, kids, Native Americans. They showed different amounts of money being allocated for different population groups. And in general, for that support, you have to go through HHS, the Department of Health and Human Services. And if you go to their website, then they will connect you with local resources for your state or city, municipality, etc., to be able to get support through there. But even if you're special needs or disabled, if you had been working in the past or just as an adult in this country, you do qualify for that cash payment, the direct cash payments that I mentioned, the $1,200 per adult and $500 per child. Okay. So what else?
Okay. I'm looking at the website. Do you have to apply for the loan first in order to get the grant? I don't see how you just apply for the grant.
Okay, you don't just apply for the grant. So another great question. And yes, you do have to actually apply for the economic injury disaster loan in order to request the grant. So you have to, upon successful completion of the application, not upon successfully being approved or getting the loan, but just upon successfully completing the application, at that same time that you're making the application, that's when you have to apply for and ask for the grant. And again, what they said in the rules and the code thus far is that you're supposed to get it in 3 days. So that's some seriously fast cash. And the $10,000 grant that you would be awarded, that's free. It's if you don't get the loan, they're like, that's fine, you don't have to repay it. So that's a really good deal.
Okay. How does the stimulus payout work if you file married but separate?
Oh, so that's a great question. And the honest answer is, off the top of my head, I don't know. I can tell you what I would hazard a guess to say, because there's different filing status, of course, for the tax code. So there's single, there's head of household, married, and then married filing separately. I can tell you the numbers again. $75,000 in income for single people, $150,000 for couples, and it's $112,000, I believe, maybe $112,500 for individuals who are head of household. Off the top of my head, I don't know what the number would be for if it's just like, okay, if you're separate, married filing separately, if they say whatever, it's still the same. I'm just not sure about that. So I would suggest you go to the IRS website. It's irs.gov. And check that out. I don't know. I shouldn't even hazard a guess because I don't know. So good question.
Okay. If you are a sole proprietor and independent contractor, can you apply for the PPP loan if you don't have employees?
Yes. If you are a sole proprietor or independent contractor, if you're a mom and pop shop, if you're an individual working for yourself and by yourself, you don't have contractors or employees, yes, you can still apply for the PPP loan and have loan forgiveness as well.
Okay, that seems like the end of the questions.
Okay, so, all right, Alexis is telling me we're at the end. Like I said, y'all, I promised to come with the knowledge tonight to tell you how to get some coronavirus, COVID-19 cash up in this joint, okay? And I think we did a pretty good job. I hope that you guys got a lot of information and tools and stuff that you can use out of this. anytime I can bring my financial expertise and knowledge to the situation, it makes me feel good because I know that a lot of people are struggling. I do understand that this has been a huge financial shock to a lot of people. And we know that the average American already didn't even have $400 in savings. Hey, my honey, saying hi to me. You give me a kiss? Oh, thank you. So Alexis is looking like, So those of you who know us, you know my husband, Earl Cox. And again, I'm Lynnette Khalfani-Cox, the Money Coach. We are the owners of the free financial advice site, AskTheMoneyCoach.com. But our company, and we do get paid, to do this stuff as well. We have a LLC, as I mentioned. It's called TheMoneyCoach.net. That's our LLC. We provide financial literacy and financial education services to corporations who want to help their employees, to educational institutions, to nonprofits, government agencies, and to faith-based groups as well. So
17 years in business.
17 years, yep, and going strong.
There's one good question.
Oh, one more question.
It says, where can we post questions that were missed? Okay, so any questions that were missed, go ahead and post it on my Facebook page, and I'll try to go ahead and get online again and answer as many as possible.
And when we don't, we'll put on to another article on AskTheMoneyCoach.com.
Yes. Oh, one last thing. This is super important. So 2 articles that I want you guys to be able to reference. So I talked to you about unemployment insurance. We posted an article today about unemployment insurance and the benefits for every state. So it doesn't matter where you are. If you go look at that article on AskTheMoneyCoach.com, it'll give you the list for every state in the country and links to the website where you can go and claim your unemployment benefits and the phone number if you need to call there with questions. So that's one. Second, all of this content that I just shared with you tonight for this coronavirus cash special edition for Facebook Live, we've put into an article as well. So I know a lot of you were taking notes and copious notes because a lot of you told me that you were going to be taking notes. And yeah, they did have a lot of good questions. I actually have thought ahead a little bit and made this available in written format for you as well. Not as much, some of the details that we went through tonight, just to give you a little extra, but do know that you can take that content, you can share it. Certainly, let's try to help as many people as we can to get through the COVID-19 epidemic and the coronavirus crisis. I want you guys to stay safe and healthy, keep social distancing.
Keep those masks on.
Keep those masks on.
You don't need the government to tell you that. It's obvious we need to wear a mask.
Yes, absolutely. I want you all to stay safe, and have a happy, healthy, and prosperous 2020. Mwah. Love you guys. All right, take care now.